Namaste. Good day to everyone. Welcome to this video on a glimpse of Ayurveda. You might have come across the word Ayurveda at least once in your life, either from your family members, friends who have tried it, or from social media posts that are for or against it, or from supermarket shelves where they label most of the product as Ayurvedic. This is an attempt to give you a glimpse of Ayurveda from the expert so that you could understand what Ayurveda truly stands for. Now, we will interact with our Ayurveda expert Dr. G. Harini Ramya, who is the Ayurveda physician deputed by the Government of India to the Ministry of Health, Malaysia. She is working at the traditional and complementary medicine units of Hospital Port Dickson and Hospital Rehabilitation, Cheras. Doctor, what is Ayurveda?
As many of you would know, Ayurveda is the traditional Indian system of medicine that is being practiced since so many centuries.
It is one of the first systems of medicine that has a well-documented medical literature. It would surprise you to know that Ayurveda has specialized branches like what we have nowadays, like general medicine, pediatrics, psychiatry, gynecology, dentistry, dermatology, neurology, geriatric care, etc. It is one of the most logical sciences based on the ways the universe works.
Doctor, you have mentioned that Ayurveda is from centuries ago. Is it still relevant now?
Yes, of course. I can assure you that Ayurveda is more relevant at this point of time than any other time before. Let me explain.
We are at this point of our history where we come across newer diseases every day. New types of cancer, new forms of lifestyle diseases, new configurations of genetic abnormalities, new strains of viruses and bacteria. Most of these diseases are due to the unhealthy practices in the food and lifestyle that we follow. And Ayurveda, being the science of life, guides you all the way to a healthy and content life. And this is evident from the objectives of Ayurveda.
Okay, doctor. Does Ayurveda have objectives?
Certainly, Ayurveda does have proper objectives. Ayurveda is the science with a clear-cut mission and vision.
Swasthasya swasthya rakshanam and aturasya vikara prashamanam are the two objectives of Ayurveda. The first one, swasthasya swasthya rakshanam. You might be surprised to see that there is one system of medicine that cares about maintaining the health of the healthy individual. Ayurveda believes that the health of a person is the first and foremost wealth and hence that has to be protected. The second objective is to treat the diseased person. This is usually done with the help of medicines, treatments with the emphasis on diet and corrected lifestyle.
Oh, is Ayurveda really holistic?
This is an authentic question. I can honestly tell you that Ayurveda is a holistic system of medicine.
It is the practice that emphasizes on the wholeness of the being, not only at the body plane, but also in the emotional, psychological, social and spiritual planes. Have you ever heard of any medical science that elaborates about the ways how one should carry himself in the society, in the family, in the profession or in the spiritual pursuit? Ayurveda does that. Ayurveda perceives a patient as a socially connected and committed individual and not merely as a system of organs, cells, enzymes, neurotransmitters, or as molecules alone. And this is because Ayurveda has a strong, deep realization of the impacts of the emotion, mind, society, time, and climate on the health and well-being of the person. It would not be superfluous when we proudly say that Ayurveda has coined the definition of health about 3000 years ago, while the Western system could understand health only partially even now. Ayurveda's state of health, called as swastha, encompasses physiological, metabolic, anatomical equilibrium with the spiritual, sensual, mental, and social harmony. The role of Ayurveda is to stabilize this state in a person, and that's why Ayurveda is holistic.
It is very interesting to know that Ayurveda has such a definition of health even before the World Health Organization. Then, what are the foundations of Ayurveda, Doctor?
The foundational principles of Ayurveda are from nature. We all belong to the cosmos or the universe, and hence whatever the external matter and force are found in the universe are what we are also made of.
The molecular theory of this ancient science is based upon the 5 elements or Panchamahabhutas, namely Akasha, Vayu, Tejas, Jala and Prithvi, Kala or time, Dik or direction, Atma or soul, Manas or mind. The Tridoshas, namely Vata, Pitta and Kapha, are the representations of Panchamahabhutas in the functional plane, and the human physiology is explained with the Tridoshas. Saptadhatus, namely Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Medas, Asti, Majja and Shukra, and Trimalas, namely Shakrit, Mutra, Sweda, are the gross structural representations of Panchamahabhutas in the body.
Vata, Pitta and Kapha. We have heard them often. What are they, Doctor? Can we actually see them?
Interesting question. Vata, Pitta and Kapha are the functional components of the body. We understand the Tridoshas on the basis of gunas or qualities.
You can see the matter, but you cannot see the energy, right? Tridoshas are such forces or energies. See, you can feel the properties or qualities like temperature, roughness, dryness, moisture, fluidity, etc. but you cannot actually see them with your eyes. Ayurveda calls these gunas as Samanya gunas or common qualities. There are 10 such pairs of qualities. And Tridoshas are the group of specific qualities that are common to the entire universe. Say, dryness you can feel in the leaves, in the earth as well as on the skin. Hardness when you touch the stone, metals as well as when you touch your bones. Fluidity you can experience in water as well as in the blood. Such qualities that are related have been grouped into 3 and are called Tridoshas. Can you see the electrical impulse that travels between your nerves or the force that moves the food in the intestines? You cannot. Similarly, you cannot see the Tridoshas, but you can feel them, you can understand them. They are the foundational principles of Ayurveda, and not only the human beings but the whole universe is made up of the Tridoshas. This is because these qualities or gunas which we talked are seen in each and every atom of the universe.
So, what if these qualities are common between me and the universe? How would it affect me?
I'm glad that you have understood so far.
Since now you know that the human body and the universe have common molecular basis, you would agree that plants, animals, minerals, metals, air, water, fire also have similar molecules. Every species of plants, say apple or oranges, or the different types of water, say rainwater or boiled water, are unique because of the composition of their molecules. This is what we call as Panchamahabhuta Ghatana or Panchamahabhuta composition in Ayurveda. And we explain them on the basis of qualities or gunas. Now, do you agree with the basic functions of mathematics, addition and subtraction? When you use articles made up of similar Panchamahabhuta composition, or in simple terms, similar qualities, those doshas that have similar properties will increase within the body. For example, when you take meat in your diet, your kapha and the muscle build will increase. When you take a cold shower, it will cool the body. This is simple addition. In the same way, the decrease of doshas is also possible with the use of substances with opposite qualities, which is subtraction. This is the basic science of Ayurveda that covers biology, physics, chemistry, and mathematics. So, anything you do which includes food, activities, emotions, time, climatic variations can increase or decrease the tridoshas. So, the tridoshas are fluctuating 24/7 within their range, which is in a dynamic equilibrium. This is the state of health. If they exceed that range or come below that range due to the above factors, they tend to produce diseases.
Oh, that means that I am constantly under the threat of disturbing the doshas. How will Ayurveda help me from falling sick?
That's the right question to ask. Because as we saw already, Ayurveda emphasizes on the promotion of health and prevention of diseases.
In order to check the doshas from going beyond their functional limits due to various day-to-day activities like the time of waking up, brushing, bathing, exercise, eating, working to till the time one goes to bed, Ayurveda has a framework for everyone. The time, duration, intensity, temperature of every activity is customized according to the individual depending upon his body-mind constitution, his occupation, etc. This daily routine is called as Dinacharya, and Ayurveda also has the regimen specific for each seasons known as Ritucharya. The amazing aspect of Ayurveda's preventive technique is the Sadvrata, which is the code of conduct and behavior that prevents the psychological diseases in a person. These three aspects of daily regimen, seasonal regimen, and code of conduct maintain the tridoshas and the mind within the equilibrium and thereby protects the health of a person.
Well, doctor, you have mentioned that Ayurveda has framework for each and every one. Why is it so?
Ayurveda perceives the human to be composed of three planes: body, mind, and spirit.
No two bodies are similar. Even if it is similar in case of twins, their minds are never the same. Above all, the soul is unique in every living being. Hence, Ayurveda prescribes diet, lifestyle, medicines, and treatments custom made for each and every person. For example, even though two patients of the same age are suffering from knee pain due to degeneration, an Ayurveda physician will prescribe the treatments and medicine that will be completely different from each other. So, Ayurveda is a person-centric system of medicine. We treat the person who has got the disease.
So, doctor, what happens during an Ayurvedic consultation? What should I expect? And how should I be ready?
Prima facie, you should know that the patient has an active role in the Ayurvedic treatment unlike other systems of medicine.
The patient has to actively take part in the diagnosis and also in the treatment program. Let me explain. Ayurveda has its own method of examining the disease and the diseased. It is a complex process of diagnostic evaluation that has 10 important components. This is a detailed interrogation and you should be patient at the first place and provide the details correctly. Secondly, the Ayurveda physician derives the final conclusion and decides the treatment based upon these factors. The diet and lifestyle modifications form the core of preventing the progression of diseases, and the medicines and treatments prescribed will correct the existing damages. You play a very major role in the Ayurvedic treatment by following these instructions. Hence, if you are expecting a holistic relief, then you are expected to follow the advices sincerely.
Why does Ayurveda always preach about diet? Why can't we just take a pill and get a cure?
It is a genuine question that I frequently encounter. You know, Ayurveda has an extensive literature of diseases.
There are descriptions about chromosomes, genes, and genetic materials in Ayurveda and a long list of genetic diseases. Congenital diseases, lifestyle disorders, accidents, poisoning and trauma, climatic diseases or environmental diseases, infectious diseases, age-related diseases are all mentioned in Ayurveda. On a deeper examination, Ayurveda says that except for conditions caused by accidents, falls, insect bites, poisoning, etc., majority of other diseases are self-inflicted, that is, caused by the individual himself who, unknowingly with his wrong diet and activities, puts himself in the distress. For example, the majority of heart attacks that have become common today are due to the unwholesome diet, lack of physical activity and stress, though a very small fraction is due to the congenital problems or infections. Hence, unless you remove the causative factor from the equation, you cannot expect the relief in a disease. And that's why Ayurveda preaches a lot about diet and lifestyle.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Where can I know more about healthy diet and cooking?
In the next video, we will talk more about food articles, cooking, what to eat, when to eat, and how to eat especially. Stay tuned.
Well, about the Ayurvedic treatments, is it really necessary to stop all other medicines if I follow Ayurveda?
It is a very genuine doubt that many people ask.
Ayurvedic treatments can also be given as a complementary therapy to the modern medical management. There are many conditions in which Ayurveda treatments have a great role, while you can continue your tablets as well. For example, you can continue your medications for diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol or seizures, and can also seek Ayurvedic treatments for the same diseases or other conditions also. Ayurvedic physician prescribes medicines and treatments that work in a symbiotic relationship with the existing conditions and medications after a very careful assessment. And so, self-medication of Ayurvedic medicines without proper consultation should not be done.
Then where can I get Ayurvedic consultation, doctor?
Presently, there are 2 locations where Ayurvedic treatments are available in the government hospitals of Malaysia. These services have been implemented in cooperation with the Government of India.
The traditional and complementary medicine units at Hospital Port Dickson and another one at Hospital Rehabilitation Cheras offer Ayurveda services to the people of Malaysia. The Ayurveda physician and therapists are deputed from India by the Government of India, and these centers offer a wide range of Ayurveda services. You have to be referred by a registered medical practitioner from government or private clinics to have Ayurveda consultation. Once you have the referral letter, you can approach these units for appointments.
What are the Ayurvedic services that are offered in Malaysian government hospitals, doctor?
We have a special section about the Ayurveda services that are offered here.